Riven's probably in top lane, and will be very annoying for the enemy to deal with. Kog'Maw's probably mid against the enemy Kog'Maw, or Blitzcrank. If they know what they're doing, they put Blitzcrank in mid. One good pull from Blitzcrank and that Kog'Maw is dead. Every time. Guaranteed. I see the Kog'Maw killed Kog'Maw. And then the person who ganked them. Nice. Very nice. Always good to see Kog'Maw getting kills. Kha'Zix is playing extra defensive, as he should be. He is not going to be doing very well against Riven. You want to go here. You go there. You're obviously the support. Yasuo, I think, is actually in bottom lane. I think that's that. So here's the gank from Syndra. Syndra gonna get turned on at this point. Tryndamere is right on time in the lane with his big Sultan Scimitar. She is really the jungler. Okay. Looks like somebody's watching a little too much Soul Wolf and doesn't actually know how to play the game very well. And thinks that it works because a YouTuber did it. You have to remember that it's not really that the YouTuber's good all the time. You have to pay attention to who's really carrying the game, and if a YouTuber's meta-breaking strategy doesn't let them carry the game, then maybe you shouldn't do it. It's a little risky if you can't carry with this strategy, especially in solo queue. And the higher up your rank is, the harder it's going to be to carry a game. So, just remember that going into the future here. Another hard part about ganking Riven is that she has so much damage that in this short amount of time that her stun is, and it's not a long stun. Like, look at that. Just that short stun. That's all it takes. We have a disconnect. Lots of pings in the mid lane because of that disconnect. Looks like Tryndamere will be taking over mid lane. Tryndamere is building attack damage jungler, but he does not have any crit chance built yet, so he is not critting enough. Uh-oh. Yasuo getting low, but I don't think he was getting low in the hip-hop sense, but rather in the sense where your HP is relatively dangerously low. Alongside him getting low is Blitzcrank, who has relatively low ground clearance anyway. Ooh, that doesn't look good. He is ignited, and there is the killing shot. Not sure why he ran. I mean, I understand he's going to use his ultimate to hit you there, but I mean, if he probably already used his E. I'm assuming that his spinning slash was already used at some point in that fight, and thus he couldn't, kind of go through the tower. That is generally what a turret dance with Tryndamere will be. They go through the tower constantly to get just a little bit out of your range, just enough, like he's coming down here and you know he's going to be in your range soon, and then it's really annoying. I hate when that happens. Syndra seems to, I'm assuming that she cleared this red buff, but she doesn't have much left on that blue buff that she's got. I also think that she's not going to be ganking top lane anytime soon. I mean, Kha'Zix really needs some damage, and all he has is a longsword. But one great advantage to Kha'Zix, even though he's up against Riven, is once he starts being able to last hit, he's going to really start being able to get those ganks going. Speaking of getting ganked, bottom lane, Syndra was right there. If they only lasted a few seconds longer before deciding to die. Syndra going to come in here, feed them one more kill. Not sure why she's doing that, but W/E, you know, we're going to see a little bit of turret harassment here from Quinn, who does have plenty of poke to pull that off, and with Lulu's little ultimate and shields here, she is able to almost safely do it. But Syndra is not to be underestimated, although she is jungle. You know, she's not building AD, so she still has damage. And building Syndra's quite simple. All you need is a crystalline flask, some boots, and as many Doran's rings as you can afford. Kog'Maw is very strong against Tryndamere, by the way. And the reason why is because Tryndamere has to get close to Kog'Maw. And the closer you are to Kog'Maw, the more he can hit you on the way out. So, this Kog'Maw is going AP. He rushed a Deathfire Grasp like I've seen some really, really strong players do. They like getting that early Deathfire Grasp because it's a more effective Ignite. You know, they can use the Ignite to guarantee the kill now, instead of it just being like oh, let me throw the Ignite early and hope I can do enough damage. Because sometimes it's just, it feels like you get one less tick every now and then. Bottom lane gets pushed out here, and Yasuo is very strong against turrets because he has a lot of attack resets, just like Riven. You know, Riven can really beat up a tower pretty quick when her attack resets are being used. And there you see her wave clear. I mean, if she had a Ravenous Hydra, that'd be even faster, you know? Not looking good for Yasuo here. Has to throw out his Tornado in order to get away. I believe they call them whirlwinds. And this, that is Q, yeah. Right? Right? Yeah, they call them whirlwinds, even though they're fucking tornadoes. But here you can see, like, every single time that Tryndamere tries to attack this Kog'Maw, he has so much range and damage that he just hurts him. He hurts him far more than the enemy can hurt him. So here, we're going to actually backspace. And here we are going to see why Kha'Zix, he actually dodged the Wind Slash. And that's probably what made him win this trade. But Kha'Zix, underneath the turret, can kill you, no doubt about it. You could see there that superior positioning and having the turret hitting Riven pretty much continually for most of that fight. Like, he didn't start engaging until after the turret started hitting Riven. Then he tried to keep Riven in line, if you know what I'm saying. We're going to see the turret dive, almost a successful turret dive, but Quinn ended up dying because it's really hard to get away from Yasuo when he's hitting a lot of his CC on you. He also threw up a wall to stop Quinn's skill shots from getting last hits. It's really unfortunate that the enemy Kog'Maw left the game. And it's always a shame when players like that join. I'm assuming that this is a ranked game, because it was in the thing. There's only like one normal game, and it's usually in the last slot. So I'm assuming that this one here is a ranked game. And when people like that join ranked, it's really like just giving them like a, you can't play for a while punishment. I don't really think it's enough. You know, there's people that are trying to use this game to sometimes like provide entertainment for viewers, and it's not entertaining to watch someone play a game where like a few minutes in, I mean not even 15 minutes in, their teammate left, and they're probably going to be a little bit upset about it. And then they lose the game. Like, I've seen people win 4v5s, but it's not easy, and Riven is not snowballing, so Riven is not going to be carrying. I mean, Kha'Zix is already pretty much catching up in damage. He's certainly starting to hurt her, so Riven is going to be a little less likely to get some big kills here. That's such a shame. Such a shame. And that's my friend OP Fat Time. And it's not a ranked game, it's a normal game, but still. I forgot that I'm watching a friend's game. I thought I was watching one of the, ranked games that shows up in the home screen thing. Undying Rage going to be protecting the Tryndamere from death as they take out the Yasuo, and now they're turning in on the Kog'Maw, but Kog'Maw just has so much damage too. He's got 2 needlessly large rod items, including 1 needlessly large rod, which is really giving him the damage that he needs to be a continual threat in all of these fights. I mean, when you look at him, he's got an ability power rating of 281. So, when you look at his skills, right? Every single time he uses his spittle, he's doing over 400 damage. And it reduces the enemy's armor and magic resist by 25. In correlation to that, he's doing more damage with his Bioarcane Barrage. When he's hitting you with the Living Artillery, it's hitting you harder. He's going to be hitting you even harder with the Void Ooze, which, by the way, does another 300 damage. I mean, he's really, really good at Burst. It's pretty scary. He has a lot of great skills at his disposal that shred defenses. You can see here, he's not afraid of Quinn, because he knows that he's going to probably outdamage her as long as he doesn't get CC'd. Syndra going to try to come in here and unleash her power, but does not end up doing so. Blitzcrank tried to get a pull, but they were able to stay out of range, so good for them. Top lane is not fighting. Riven is going to probably just try to farm up. I mean, that's really all that she can do at this point. She's got to get built. She has to get her HP and damage finished if they're going to stand a chance in this game, because they need the power of Riven to really do what they need to do to win this game. Now, while I understand that they were probably saving their broken wings, which is their Q skill, to farm minions, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. It doesn't have a long cooldown, and they would have gotten that turret a lot faster if they used it. And then they could just use the broken wings when it comes off cooldown. There's a lot of pings here. Not sure why. Nothing really happened. Here we're going to see the purple team getting engaged on here by one of the most dangerous engages in the game, and he missed his pull, so that's gonna be sad. That's a sad Blitzcrank. We're gonna see Riven be the first to fall. Now, Blitzcrank does very well with Yasuo because he has a pop-up, right? And that allows him to use his ultimate. The downside is he doesn't have a pop-up that can knock multiple enemies. I think that if you want to do Yasuo in bottom lane, you should be thinking about laning with a support that can pop up your enemies. Both of the laners, not just one. Someone like Cho'Gath. Lulu is great for that. There aren't really that many that have AoE pop-ups. It's not a very common skill. We're going to see Lulu get picked off by that. I call it the snot ball, ever so affectionately. What's this? Void Ooze right here. That does 400 damage. Right, if you're less than 400 HP and you don't have any magic resist, you're dead. Not sure why Yasuo sent out his hurricane like that. I mean, whirlwind. I mean, tornado. Out comes the ball. Oh, Blitz, you should have went for the pull. Oh, wait, he has no mana because he's too busy missing all of his goddamn pulls. We're going to see Riven still showing her relevance here. She does plenty of damage to them. You could see her chunking them a little bit there, but she needs more. Obviously, she needs more. She needs more HP. She needs a little tankiness. It's really hard to build against a Kog'Maw because, like I said, his caustic spittle is ridiculous. It shreds your resistances if they're not high. You need to have at least 150 magic resist and armor in order to really fight a Kog'Maw here. Tryndamere goes in. Not sure if his ultimate was on cooldown or not, but he didn't use it nonetheless. It was. You can see here, it's got 30 seconds left. And he's just decided, alright, I gotta go in. I gotta do something here. Gonna see the stun come off from Riven. Oh, she missed it. Missed her chance. She's gonna, if she doesn't have flash. What the fuck? She like dashed backwards, but I guess that she just gave up. Was maybe hoping for Blitz to pull her. I have seen some Blitzes at this HP range go for pulls just because they're Blitzcrank and they think that that's what they're supposed to do. And they're not. You're not supposed to just go for pulls. I'm sorry. Now, while I see why she's pushing out this lane, and she certainly should, there are way more profitable lanes for her to be pushing. You have to remember that super creeps give you less gold. So she should really be thinking about getting into another lane and farming that instead. Kha'Zix does not know that she's there until now. Now he knows. Riven does have enough DPS with her broken wings to easily take out a ward if it pops next to her and she gets a quick auto attack off on it. Not sure if I agree with that leap. Purple team grabbed the dragon. Pretty sneaky. You can see down here, Quinn grabbed it. Good for her. They need as much gold as they can get. They are really far behind in gold. They're not that bad in levels, though, so if they can get a nice engage, if they can really, they have to catch this Kog'Maw out. They have to catch someone, make it 4v5, get rid of someone on the front line, get rid of that Blitzcrank, get rid of the Yasuo, get rid of people that have peel, you know? They want to be able to focus down Kog'Maw and kill him. Because if they don't kill Kog'Maw, Kog'Maw will easily kill them. He has so much damage and should be feared. We're going to see Riven get a little bit of harassment here, but she threw out a ward. Pretty important. It's going to give them a little bit of positioning advantage on the enemy. You can see there the harass from Kog'Maw and how strong it is. Like, look at how they can just bully the enemies at this point. Even though they're in their base, they are most certainly on the defensive. They are not trying to be aggressive at all. They're trying to just outlast their enemies here. They're trying to wait and bide their time. It's a good, smart play, but you have super minions coming into the base. You know, it's really hard to sit back and wait like this because you've got minions attacking your turrets, they're attacking your defenses. The enemies are coming in, you know. It's not good. You can see that Tryndamere used his spinning slash already. Saw him use it before. Right there. We're going to see Riven go in here, using that wind slash, able to take out the Syndra. Blitzcrank falls pretty soon after, and it looks like Kha'Zix is easily going to be able to get away. His leap will be off cooldown, with plenty of time for him to get away. I don't think that Quinn is going to be able to run fast enough to catch him. And 2, 1, leap. Just leap over that wall right there, and bada bing. He's good. I almost want to, like, go back. Where was Oh, he was here the whole fucking time, wasn't he? Hold on a second. He was. Kog'Maw was not present in that fight. This is why they got slaughtered. They did not have Kog'Maw there. He went over to top lane, and because he wasn't there, they lost that fight pretty hard. They do need Kog'Maw there. And that's why focusing Kog'Maw down is so important for the purple team. I was wondering why they just suddenly got slaughtered. I'm like, where's all the damage that Kog'Maw was doing? Well, that's because he was doing it to blue buff. Listen, blue buff is really nice, especially on Kog'Maw, who has very high mana costs because he likes to spam his living artillery, which costs more and more mana every single time you use it, and really adds up quickly. He baited her in with that caustic spittle, made her think that he was vulnerable, but ended up using his flash very well there. You see how he saved it until after she had the shield up so that he couldn't get stunned, hoping that she would pop the stun and then be stuck there because she used all of her chase to get close to him. And then that's when he starts attacking her back. I'm going to see Blitzcrank relatively low here. A little bit risky on his part. I don't think I agree with how aggressive he was. He probably should have thrown a pull if he was going to be like that. Like, at max range, just sit here and throw the pull. You know, like, she's obviously going to wait. She probably won't send out her Q, even though she probably could have gotten the kill anyway. But she didn't seem to have that in mind. I tend to see Quinns use their backflip move, as I call it, because it's a backflip. But he ended up feeding her a kill because of how his mind told him, if I get really close to the bush where this Quinn was, I won't die. So Kog'Maw doesn't have his flash, but as you can see, he can very safely harass the enemy. In comes Quinn. She's going to turn into her Phoenix form and attack him and kill him. Good job on her part. However, I don't think she's going to be able to get away from his passive, and she doesn't. I'm not sure what that was. Like, she knows how that ability works, so she knew she was just going to pop back. But if she was Lee Sin, she could have gotten away. Yasuo pushing this lane up. Tryndamere going to come up here and take a lot of the harass from the enemy. Lulu using her ultimate to keep Tryndamere in this fight as he continues to attack Kha'Zix, who ends up turning around on him and killing him. Syndra does not get the assist. Blitzcrank dies one more time in mid lane. Looked like it was a pretty good fight. Just kidding. I'm assuming that she just ulted and killed him. That's generally how Riven works. Wasn't sure if Yasuo was actually coming down to try to gank Riven, but he's not. But he is coming down this lane. He's going to meet Riven, who has her shield up. Now she doesn't. And that's death. Excellent play by Riven. She was able to not only kill him, but before Kog'Maw could get his living artillery off. Oh, there's the Zanya's ring. We're going to see the stun come off and a kill. He can pick either of them for a quick kill. For some reason, he picked the person who has a shield. Probably should have chased the Quinn, but he didn't. At this point, I would probably get something with a little bit of movement speed. On Kog'Maw, Lichbane certainly wouldn't be the end of the world. Give him a little bit of movement speed. He's got his defensive item, his Zanya's Hourglass. Getting a Lichbane and then a Rabadon's Deathcap would be a pretty strong build, because he'd have the ability to chase people down when his passive is finished. Looks like Syndra ended up dead. She was in this lane for some reason. She tried to do the predictable, go in the bush and get away. Let me tell you something about Quinn. Okay, Quinn has a middle name, and her middle name is Burst, and her last name is OP. So her name is Quinn Burst OP. So please, when you try to 1v1 Quinn, get a stun. You know, if you don't stun her, if you are not confident in your ability to stun Quinn and then kill her, like, you have to stun her and kill her in that order. If you cannot kill her before she can retaliate, her retaliation will be you're gonna die. That's just how Quinn works. She takes out your whole health bar. Granted, it is rather easy for you to kill Quinn if you have the right skill set. She's pretty weak against champions like Annie, who have definitely have comparable burst to Quinn, that's for sure. people like Anivia, who have lots of CC, good kiting abilities like Ashe with her frost arrows and her volley. Very, very strong against Quinn, because if Quinn can't catch up to you, she's not going to be killing you. We're going to see Riven try to go in on Kog'Maw, but ends up being denied, and that's probably going to cost them this team fight. They're trying to get somebody here, and only end up getting 2 of the enemies, and the one that they wanted is right there, this Kog'Maw. And if you don't kill Kog'Maw, and it's not their fault. The enemy team, the blue team, is doing everything to make sure that Kog'Maw survives, because they know that if Kog'Maw survives that initial burst, if they use their cooldowns on other players on the team, Kog'Maw is going to win them that fight. Now the good news is, Tryndamere knew that they needed something to keep them in the game in case they lost that fight. So we split push. And in this case, it worked out very well. You have to have good timing. You know, if you don't have good timing with it, the advantage that you can get from split pushing, which, as you can see, he delayed the game a little bit more. He's giving Riven a little bit more time to farm up, to get the items that she needs. She needs more HP. She needs some Giant's Belt items. I mean, really. I'm talking, she needs it. And she's trying to get that Ravenous Hydra. It's going to make her a little bit more deadly in fights. She needs an HP item, though. She needs something that a Giant's Belt is used to build. Yasuo going to get caught here. Not looking good for him. Not sure if I agree with that strategy where he runs headlong into Riven and dies. Speaking of silly strategies, Blitzcrank pulled over here for some reason, even though it's physically impossible to be standing there. And he's going to die to Tryndamere. Kog'Maw all by himself, still deadly. As you can see, they aren't going to dive him. They know better. He can easily take out their HP bars. If Riven can build something with a Giant's Belt, anything, like even a Sunfire Keep, anything with a Giant's Belt, Warmogs would be ideal at this point. Just that flat 8. No doubt about it. She needs that HP. We're going to see more lane pushes here. They pushed up the mid lane to kill the inner turret over there. Not really the inner turret, but the inner lane turret. And now they're going to take the inner lane turret and bottom lane. As you can see, the map is slowly shrinking around the blue team here. Their advantage is going to be lost if they're not careful. Problem with Windslash is it's not a very good opening move. As you can see, it does little to no damage against full HP enemies. Blue team actually thinking about surrendering for some reason. And so, that's when, if you're on the purple team, and you see something like that, you see surrender vote failed, that's when you know you're doing something right, you're breaking their morale, even though they had the game, and they certainly did. They had the game pretty firmly in their grasp for a little bit. I mean, Kog'Maw was really swaying this game in the blue team's favor. Now suddenly, not so much. So, I think a part of it is that Quinn is almost doing 1,000 damage whenever she crits. We're going to probably see her try to run away here, but it's going to be cut off in 2 directions. Kha'Zix, probably not the smartest decision of his to try to walk through Quinn without really attacking her. He probably should have at least leaped on her. And it looks like Blitzcrank will be the next to fall. Like I said, doing almost 1,000 damage is a pretty big thing. We see that Kog'Maw was killed in this mid lane here. Riven is going to try to chase down Yasuo, but Yasuo has plenty of dashes. He will easily be able to get away, and as he runs, he builds up his mana pool, which is actually called Flow in this game. And as he gets more flow, he can use his abilities. And Riven is pretty much immune to a lot of his defensive abilities, but he has a lot of dashes, so he can dash away if need be. We're going to see them attacking this turret. She's not using her... There we go. Broken Wing is kind of coming into play, but she isn't like using it as effectively as she does when there's minions around for some reason. Blitzcrank coming out here with his super fast speed boost. Did not throw out a pull until now. The flash happens, and they are going to get out of there pretty safe. Pretty good. Now, Quinn understands something about her right now. She is very deadly. She's going to come in here and use all of that burst onto the Kog'Maw. Sadly, Kog'Maw did not die. I don't know what really saved him there. But I guess it was just that she wasn't critting. She didn't get the crits. And a lot of her damage is going to be coming from crits. But he did get pretty low. He did not die. Quinn certainly can kill Kog'Maw in a 1v1, but has to get those crits, you know? I think that Tryndamere is probably the more dangerous 1v1er for Kog'Maw right now. Kog'Maw's burst can actually work against him when he's up against Tryndamere. You saw there that he 3-shot Syndra. 3 hits, 1 kill. We're going to see that the Riven was killed at some point. There she is. Oh, I can already see what happens in my mind. She goes after Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw turns it around easily because she can't get close enough to stun him. He's very, very good at staying within a range where Riven cannot get that initial stun. If you can CC this Kog'Maw, he's going to have a harder time surviving the fights. It's such a shame that the purple team lost their Kog'Maw, who looked like he was going to be the AP Kog'Maw for their team. As you can see, AP Kog'Maw is quite strong in this current meta, and is not to be underestimated. Kha'Zix certainly could get a kill here, but ends up being destroyed by Quinn, being 3-shot by Quinn's abilities and flat damage that she has. She is certainly no slouch. Already almost maxing out her Bloodthirster from simple kills and farming alone. Already doing over 1,000 damage to minions because of the Sheen. It's part of her big burst, is that Sheen proc. Every single time that she's using her abilities, she's getting this gigantic damage boost, which doubles her next auto attack's damage. And if she crits, that hurts. And in an ideal world, she certainly will be critting. If she had a Phantom Dancer, it would be even more often than it already is. No pull sent out by Blitz. Probably would have been a kill on Quinn if he sent out a pull. He certainly could get close enough with a flash, and his flash was off cooldown. He could have easily gotten into position to pull that Quinn and kill her. That would have allowed them an easy push. Easy. Maybe not a victory, but an easy push. I see that Riven got caught. Let's take a look at where Riven was. She's in this bush. Oh boy. They can see her. She doesn't understand that they can see her. And now she knows that they can see her. And she's dead. And she popped her ultimate for some reason. Like, why would she do that? So now they have no Riven. They haven't lost their initiation, but that's pretty big. Riven grabbing a Guardian Angel so that if that happens again, they have to kill her twice instead of just once. Riven, instead of buying a Guardian Angel, maybe needs to think about better positioning for herself. Maybe thinking about staying in safer places than the enemy jungle. Like being here while you have no vision on the enemy. Not exactly the best decision in the world. Looks like there's going to be a base race. My money is on the blue team. Quinn does have a little bit of a lead, but oh, wait a minute though. Tryndamere giving them the time they need. Quinn is not attacking the Nexus. There we go. Quinn will be attacking the Nexus here, and that could be victory right there. That is victory for the purple team. Excellent play by Quinn. Tryndamere, truly the MVP of that match. That little bit of a delay, just a couple seconds,